things just really became sort of indifferent. Like I just didn't care anymore.
I don't know about you guys, but I was seriously confused by where they left things at the end of the 3-part Sister Wives Tell-All, and it got me wondering what's actually going on with this family since this was filmed.
I won't go to a place where I'm not respected because love doesn't matter to me. Respect matters to me.
I mean, who is still together, who's not? They seem to talk around everything rather than actually saying what was going on. And the tell-all was supposedly filmed in September of 2022, so that got me to do some digging, and it led me to finding out some pretty crazy things about the family's lives since then. But I don't want to waste any time, so let's get into it. So let's just go right down the line of the wives in marriage order. First, we have Mary.
That's where we are. Don't you think that we should address that publicly?
She has honestly shocked me the most out of any of these women. She and Cody released an entire statement about the end of their marriage, and it sounds like it was written entirely by Cody in my opinion. So it said, in light of a recent unapproved press release, we feel compelled to share our own truth in our own way and in our own timing. After more than a decade of working on a relationship in our own unique ways, we have made the decision to permanently terminate our marriage relationship, and during this process we are committed to kindness and respect toward each other and to all members of our family, and we are also committed to continued healing of any kind in all relationships within the family so that we can move forward with forgiveness, grace, and love in kindness. Mary and Cody. So if you're wondering what unapproved press release that they're talking about, well, they're talking about how People magazine reported that their marriage was over because they said it was on the show.
I don't even know why you called me Mary. He's like, we're not married. We're not acting as married.
Mary wrote her own caption on Instagram that Cody didn't include in his own post, and she accuses People magazine of lying. And I think we all saw her confirm that the marriage was over, and she even said that the only reason that they hadn't made a statement confirming it is because Cody didn't want to.
Yes, we're separated. Pretty stupid for people who love each other, huh?
And because he didn't want to be mocked for having another failed marriage. And it's sad that after all this time, Mary is still falling for Cody's gaslighting. But anyway, Mary's own caption on her Instagram seemed a lot more like something that she'd actually say. She wrote, in the months since the taping of those interviews, Cody and I have had many open and honest discussions that have led to our announcement today. There is so much more to be told about the story, and I assure you, my truth will be told. But for now, know that there is peace in my heart, and I hold no animosity towards Cody. I am not, and I pray that I never will be in a place where I will enjoy making or seeing you make rude and demeaning comments about him. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her caption, because then we have my favorite part of the entire statement. You will likely have a range of emotions and opinions at this news and want to offer comments, and in doing so, please be considerate of the fact that we are real people with real lives and real emotions, and please try to refrain from congratulating me at the breakup of my marriage. And I'm sure you're wondering why this is my favorite part of the statement, and it's pretty simple.
It's not an arousing,
Christine.
Huh?
It's not that easy.
No, it's not.
It doesn't just look different.
Because we all saw Mary sarcastically say, what am I supposed to say? Congratulations, you're leaving the family, when Christine decided to leave. And now, just a few months later, she's in the exact same position and asking for people not to congratulate her.
It just doesn't make sense to me that he would be so frustrated with Christine and be like, she just made this decision.
And it's just too ironic. But anyway, while this statement obviously confirms a lot of things that were left in a gray area on the tell-all, Mary's actually let even more slip, because the other day she was on Instagram Live and had people questioning if she's already in a new relationship. And she mentioned that she had company over the night before and that they were still there the next morning. And it was pretty interesting wording, because she specifically said they and didn't specify if it was a man or a woman friend or what the situation was. And one possibility is that the company was Leon, Mary's only biological child, who uses they, them pronouns. But Leon lives in Denver, which is 11 hours from Flagstaff, so it seems pretty unlikely that they'd travel that far for an overnight trip. And the next theory is that it's a new boyfriend or girlfriend, which I think is pretty obvious. And then the final theory, which I personally think is most likely, is that it was just one of her friends that's constantly hanging hanging out with her. Mary keeps a lot of friends around her, so it would make sense if it was just a friend that came to visit. But anyway, let's keep going on with the other wives. Next we have Janelle, and unlike Mary, we haven't gotten any statements from her or Cody confirming the end of their marriage, even though they both confirmed on the tell that they are separated. And if I had to guess, they're probably still in that limbo, mostly because Janelle made it pretty clear that she didn't think she could divorce him entirely due to her religious beliefs. And even though she said that she's much happier being separated from him and never wants to be in a marriage with him again, but we do have some other pretty big updates with Janelle, and that's that I think she might have actually gotten something out of Coyote Pass, because I was really worried for her that she'd have to leave the family with no financial settlement, which is honestly insane considering that she was a primary breadwinner for the family for years. I mean, she worked for decades and cashed out her 401k to pay off Robin's debt, and all this time she had nothing to show for it. But now it seems like we might have proof that she got something, but not nearly enough in my opinion, because Robin and Cody recently took out a $130,000 loan on their mansion in Flagstaff, and for a while everyone wondered why they would need that money so badly. But now that Janelle's gone, you almost have to wonder if they used that money to buy her out of Coyote Pass. And if it was to pay Janelle, I'm glad that she got some type of financial settlement out of leaving this family, but she honestly deserves way more than $130,000 after everything she contributed over the years. But who knows, maybe that wasn't the case. But either way, her name is on a portion of Coyote Pass, so if Cody and Robin still want it, they're going to have to buy Janelle out. But I'll get into what's going on with Coyote Pass in just a second, because the really crazy update with Janelle, in my opinion, is that it seems like absolutely nothing has changed with the boys and their relationship with their dad. After all this time, their fighting started in 2020, and it doesn't seem like it's changed at all. Janelle went to North Carolina to spend Christmas with Maddie, and all the boys stayed home, but they didn't see their dad. Garrison and Gabe posted a picture with Peyton and their cousin on Christmas, making it very clear that even though their mom wasn't in town, they still weren't going to spend the holiday with their dad. So if I had to guess, they haven't made any changes over the last few months. And after Cody's behavior on the last part of the tell-all and what he said about his sons, I don't think they're going to want to do anything with him at all. And next we have Christine, and we all obviously know by now that she's been living a happy and carefree life away from Cody for more than a year, but she recently made some pretty big announcements. So first of all, she has her own interview set in Salt Lake City now, so she won't have to drive back and forth to Flagstaff all the time to film for her interviews, and this will obviously save her a ton of time considering it's an 8-hour drive, but it also means that she won't have to see the rest of the family nearly as often, and she seems to be thrilled about that development. And she's even poking fun at her polygamous background, and she made a joke on Instagram recently about her hairstyle looking like a freaking polygamist, and I'm glad that she's able to, laugh at her previous life now, and I honestly hope that all the wives, or rather ex-wives now, can get to that point eventually. And lastly, that brings me to Robin and Cody, and we obviously don't know much about these two since they've completely disappeared from social media, and it seems like Cody only appears on Twitter when he wants to make a statement about divorcing another wife, and literally he was fairly active on Twitter before his divorce announcement with Christine in November of 2021, and then he disappeared entirely except for one retweet in March of 2022, and then he announced his divorce from Mary this week in January of 2023, and he's only using social media for divorce announcements these days. But the biggest thing that's going on with Robin and Cody that we know of, in my opinion, is Coyote Pass, because supposedly the family has a weird type of loan on Coyote Pass where if it's not paid off by 2023, they'll lose the land completely, which means that they'll all get screwed out of the money that they've put into it so far. And don't get me wrong, I have no idea if that is true or not, mostly because I don't know if it's possible for loan records to be made public in the first place, but if it is, that means that the only financial investment that both Mary and Janelle have left could be taken away from them with no monetary compensation in return, which means that they could literally be forced out of the family with no money. And I personally think that they're going in this direction because according to the tax website for their county, they didn't pay the taxes on Coyote Pass in 2022, and so you have to wonder if they're planning to just abandon it and lose out on what they had into it, which seems absolutely insane. But it also seems like it's going to be equally as difficult to find a buyer for all that land before they allegedly lose it in 2023. But what do you guys think of all this? this? Are you shocked by any of it? And were you as confused by the tell-all as I was? Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below.